Welcome everybody to Nine's Corner. How are you? How are you feeling? I've got a number of things I want to share with you. So we're going to get to the reading. We're going to do a reading about the $100 million lawsuit that Donald Trump is putting up against poor Mary in the New York Times. We're going to look into Doug Ford, the voting rights, and somebody we haven't heard of or really, not really hearing in the news very much of, Bill Barr, because I thought, let's look at the energies around him and see what's happening. So, two things. One, somebody had told me that if you found a dime, that was your loved one saying, hey, I'm thinking of you. And honest to my God, ever since that has happened, I can't, every time if I give somebody a dollar, they give me 20 cents back or a dime back. I literally was walking in the yard today. I was going to go pull a few carrots. That sounds so weird. I was going to get some vegetables from the garden. And as I was walking through, all of a sudden I see something shining and it's a dime. And I just thought to myself, when you're going through a difficult time, your loved ones definitely surround you with that energy. And, I know that we all think of time as linear and that everything has to happen in a certain time, past, present, future, when in reality, past, present, and future all happen at one time, and time is not linear, so there's this whole gamut we could go on. But I did want to share about meditation, because I know for myself, I was really turned off meditation for the longest time, and I couldn't understand, how could I be the way I am and not get into meditation? I should be like a big, woohoo. And I just couldn't get into it because they'd be telling you to breathe and do all this stuff. And it was just, for my constantly thinking brain, I could not do it. But I found using Tina Turner, who does a Buddha chant, and I'm going to play my version of it. I don't normally sing it. I usually just listen to Tina do it. Or if I'm by myself, say if I'm out in the woods and I'm, just want to relax and I want to meditate, I'll take a couple of deep breaths, just to cleansing breaths, just to get rid of any kind of anxiety. So you just take a big, see, I want to breathe through my nose, but I have a bit of a cold, so I don't want to be So you take a couple of deep breaths in. And then you can just pick a word, whatever word you want to use, be it love, joy, tree, trunk, whatever. And you repeat that word over and over. And the whole point is to get lost in that word, into the hearing of it or the pictures of the trees or whatever you pick as your word. And then eventually you find, as you keep saying, no, I'm not thinking about stuff, I just want to concentrate on the word. And you're saying it, so you get involved in it. And then all of a sudden you'll realize a thought will come to you out of the blue. And for me, that's when I get impressions. Like when I did Merrick Garland, I didn't even mean to do them, but I guess in my head I was thinking I wanted to do a reading on him. So when I was meditating, and let's just say I was saying, tree, 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 and all of a sudden I just had this I want to do Merrick Garland's reading, and I just had this really good feeling, this nice guy, and I was like, oh, I was thinking something shady's gonna happen. So that was my first impression. And you guys can do the exact same thing, because I find for meditation, if I'm really stressed out, go do meditation. And it's not hard. It doesn't have to be this complicated, oh, you got to zone out and do all this stuff. It's about trying to calm down all the chatter that's going on in your brain, and it's almost like letting your imagination flow so that you can be hit with inspiration. You may be, tugged on by a loved one. There's all kinds of ways of doing it, and there's all kinds of ways that you can interpret it. It all depends on you and your interpretation, but everybody has this ability. So please feel free to do your version of meditation and realize that anything you think, you create. Anything you think, you manifest. Anything you feel, you create. Right? So with feeling and with thought, you can manifest. So when you're feeling like, oh, I don't have friends, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have that. Don't be going and saying, I don't have, I want to have, because then the universe is just hearing this negative, I don't have, so let's just keep giving her what she doesn't want or doesn't have. You got to think, thank you so much for everything that I have. Thank you so much for, and then fill in the blank with the thing that you want, and you have to feel it and know that you have it. And that's what you can learn through meditation, or at least that's my version of meditation, how I deal with it. So that's enough of that. Let's get on with the reading. So the first reading, we're going to look at the $100 million lawsuit that Trump has brought up against his own niece, Mary, and the New York Times. So I thought, let's have a quick look at it and see, how is Trump going to fare, how is Mary going to fare, and how is the New York Times going to fare? So let's look at, we'll pull a card for Mary, for New York Times, and for Trump. What's going to happen? For Mary, Mary's got the Magician. She has nothing to worry about. She's actually underneath going, this just gives her more ammunition, gives her more clout, more people looking at her book, looking at her. I mean, she's made a name for herself since Trump has become, you know, the Trump orange blob that we know him to be. So for the New York Times, okay, they got the 8 of Cups. So they're just going to be like, okay, we will show up to the table and then we're moving on with it, because it's going to come of nothing between her and the New York Times. There's not going to be anything here to worry about. And for Trump, ooh, Trump has a 6 of Swords. He's being pulled in so many different directions, and this is just Trump's MO, you know? He gets himself in trouble and he thinks, I'll scare you by doing a lawsuit and saying a 100, I mean, you know the movie $100 million? That's exact, oh my God. Trump is that character. I'm going to insert picture here. I got to. All right. Next reading, we're going to pull these cards in. What's been going on with Bill Barr? Where is he? What has he been doing? What's he thinking? I mean, the last we really heard about him was, what? Within the last 6 months, he was more or less saying behind closed doors that he didn't believe Trump's fodder about the election being stolen, but, you know, that's pretty much it. I haven't really heard a whole lot. So let's just see what's behind him right now, what's going on. So, first card out, he got the Hangman. So, Bill Barr, or William Barr, is like, thank God it's over. I'm so relieved that is over. He hates Trump. This is letting me know that anything that he says in public is the complete opposite of what he feels in his real life. He is so relieved for this to be over, he doesn't even care anymore. Gosh. Ooh. Bill Barr is going through some anxiety. This is judgment. This is, you know, this is paying for your actions and having to live with the results of them. Because, you know, a lot of people get justice and judgment mixed up. Justice is the weighing of the situation, and then you get, you know, your result. But judgment is living with the result. And Bill Barr is going through it. He's got some worries, stresses, things that he's really... No wonder he's feeling stressed. He's got the 9 of Wands, so he is feeling defensive. He's feeling worried. He is not out of trouble. He knows that at any time he can be called into and be in trouble for his dealings with Trump. So that's why we've got the judgment card here. No matter what he feels relieved that he's away from Trump. But the judgment card, he's living with the consequences of being Trump's lackey. And he's got to try to defend himself. And he's waiting for the results to come in. Like, just look at this girl. Does she not look like she's looking towards the future, waiting for something to come in? And it's not a positive. This is like, I'm defending myself. So, Bill Barr, you might be making it into the news sooner rather than later. Will the John Lewis Voting Rights Act be passed? The HR 4. Will the John Lewis Voting Rights Act be passed? HR 4. I hope I'm saying that correct. I didn't write... Oh, okay. Hierophant. The rules, the regulations, that which covers this. So there's definitely going to be a looking into what is going forward. So the rules and regulations are they're going to be sticking to the rules. There's something about the rules. Okay, let's have a look. After the Hierophant, we've got the Wheel. The Wheel of Fortune. So we're starting a new cycle. The Wheel of Change. So there's definitely between the Hierophant, looking into the rules, changing the rules. So there's definitely going to be some action on it. The precise action. Oh. Two of Pentacles. So it's a juggling act. And there's going to be some flexibility needed. So the rules with the change and then need for flexibility. So I think it will pass, but not as it is. I think there's going to be some changes to it. Something's going to be added or taken away from it. There's going to be some challenges to it. We got the Queen of Wands. So as an outcome, it looks like there's going to be a woman who's going to be involved, who's going to say, no, we're not, we're going to go ahead with this. And in order to make it more plausible or to make it more palpable to people to take, they're going to change something in it to get it passed. Or at least that's what it looks like right now. But a woman's involved. Who could that be? Interesting. Okay, so the last question we're going to do is on Doug Ford. He has been missing in action in Toronto. He's been making money off the COVID, off COVID while he's premier. He said absolutely no vaccination mandates, no vaccination passports for them, and now there is passports. So somebody had asked about a reading, so I thought let's do a past, present, and future for Doug Ford. Past, present, and future for Doug Ford. Okay. In the past, he's got the Five of Swords, so he's got problems, and he's bringing them into the present with him. He's got some mental issues, and I think this is almost like a family problem. It's like he's so indecisive. He can't make up his mind. He goes with whatever way the wind is blowing, and this doesn't make him a stable character. We've got Temperance, but it is upside down, so we have... Again, here he is, he's undecisive, he's unsettled. There's something out of whack in his life that he's nervous about. I mean, definitely I can almost see like there's drinking and excess here, eating in excess and drinking in excess and all that. But there's something there's something even outside of all the current hoopla that he's stressed about. I just don't know. Non-full disclosure, I don't know a whole lot about Doug Ford. I know about his brother. I know, he's the Premier of Ontario. I know all these things, but I got the Empress. Is it possible he's having an affair? Because something is weighing him down even more so than his job. And I kind of get the feeling that, I honest to God, I don't even know if he's married, but I'm assuming he's married. And if he is, he's got some young chick. He's going through a midlife crisis type of deal. But don't be shocked if we do find out, I should say, that he might be having an affair. Oh, that's not very nice. Sorry, I really and truly, I don't know a whole lot about him. I just know the highlights. So that's our reading for today. One of the things I will say, though, for anybody who's interested in tarot and interested in, anything to do with learning this kind of stuff, don't get bogged down with the rules and with the way somebody says you have to do this and you have to have, a cauldron with baby's breath. That's all the bells and whistles, and some is nice to have. It's nice if you get gifted something cute, but you really don't need anything other than yourself, because everything you need, want, and desire is within you. It's already there, ready for you to manifest, and we have that, each of us, inside of us. We just have to look for it and guide towards that. Do you want to see Sadie? Sadie, come up and say hi to Mama. Come up. Oh, she's sheeping. Sadie. Oh, come up, Mama's girl. Look at the baby. Look at Sadie, baby. You want to say goodbye to everybody? Do you? Aw, she's such a beautiful girl. I love her so much. Sadie, say, love you. Aw, love you. Oh. All right, guys. I got to bring Sadie to bed. As always, our unity candle lit for each and every one of us. And until the next time we talk, guys, cheerio. Take care.